Yeah!
Yes!
Look at her. Wait a minute. Look at that. Look at her.
Look at
oh my
her.
God. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Hello, children, and welcome to Look at Her, our show where our super celebrity guests look at the queens they've played with, slayed with, or even laid with, and spill a little tea. God, it's hot and it's scalding on you. Or throw a little shade if they have to. Or more importantly, they just tell us something that we don't know. Our guest today snatched the crown of RuPaul's Drag Race UK and has been serving the children around the world ever since. And she came today dressed as the Shade fan, which bodes well for you at home. Please welcome Lawrence Chaney.
Yay! Oh my God, I gotta tell you, thank you so much for asking me to be here. I'm a huge fan of yours because this Hey Queen was the first ever talk show where drag queens could come on and actually spill their tea.
That's right.
Crazy.
So you won season 2 of Drag Race UK. How your life must have changed so much.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to change as much as it did, I don't think. I think it's just so crazy. I'm the first drag queen, I think, ever to win a BAFTA, which is a British Academy Film and Television Award, which is insane because I remember being like, shouldn't RuPaul have won one of these? But it's insane. Like, my season just related to so many people, and the kind of standout cast members, Bimini, Tastes, Ahura, everyone is just so obsessed with our season, which is crazy. 2 years after it came out, I'm sat here with Jonny McGovern.
I know. I was obsessed with it too, Lawrence. I loved every minute of it.
Stop flirting.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Look at.
Yeah.
All right. You know how to play this game. You've been watching your whole life.
I've been watching, ready to go, baby.
All right, honey. Well, let's begin. Look at her.
Oh, Bimini Bomboulash.
Bimini Bomboulash.
I love how, whoever it is that talks about Bimini, they either use a really glam picture of her from a photo shoot or a picture of her grabbing her crotch at the Brit Awards. She is just insanely talented. I'm so grateful to have her as a friend because obviously when I won, there was a huge uproar at
there was a lot of moments, right?
Yeah, the Bimini was robbed brigade were out in force.
How'd that make you feel?
It was rough. It was really rough. And it's sad because we both filmed A Crowning and we both wanted to win to various degrees. And I remember I thought she'd won because one of the cameramen, because obviously the cameramen don't get any hints at who's won, and we were filming a live viewing of it.
Right, I remember watching that, yes.
Oh, yeah. And we were filming this live viewing, and they filmed some B-roll with me on a red carpet. It was shaved, but it was this red carpet shot, and they said, okay, the only other shot, they were talking to each other, the only other shot we have to get is Bimini with the crown in the... Oh, right, okay, that's later on. So I just thought, oh, great, they've just spoiled the fact that I've lost Drag Race. Wow, thanks a lot.
You're like, set it on fire.
Yeah, but I was devastated because I was like, when you lose something, you protect, you're like, oh, I'm not going to start crying and be upset. I'm going to be happy for my friend. But I was like, geez, I'm going to have to know that she's won for the next 6 hours before the show airs. So we filmed all that stuff. And when I tell you, I was ready for her to win. I was going, I was ready, not taking it serious at all. And then when it said, when Ru said, Lawrence Chaney, I was gagged, I was shocked. And Bimini is such a great supporter of mine. And she gets, because I'm a comedy queen, so I make jokes about her and she makes jokes about me. She's got a great sense of humor, and I think the one thing we said to each other was we didn't want our dynamic to be like Davina and the Vivian, who kind of didn't get on the show, you know.
And didn't get on after the show, darling.
Yes. You know, we literally said, we don't want a double crowning. I'm happy if you win. You know, vice versa. And we just want to uplift each other and have fun. Because that's what our season was all about. That's what UK Hun, our performance was all about having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, I mean, the cast is so good on your season. And let's take another look at another one of my favorites. Look at her.
Oh!
The stunning beauty of Taste.
Taste is just drag perfection.
Yeah.
I think. You know what's so funny? I look at Taste and I see like this effortless, ethereal goddess, you know, and I look at her and I go, oh, maybe I could take some tips here, tips there. And she says, oh, I'd love to see you, Lawrence, in a human hair wig and stuff. You're so different. I've tried on many a human hair wig of hers, and I look terrible.
Really?
I look like a foot. There's something about a plus-size queen in a flat human hair wig that's just homophobic. I mean, I looked like Samara from The Ring. It was grim. She's not afraid to let me have it, which I like. So if I'm ever feeling too cocky or anything, I think it's because she's Welsh and I'm Scottish. There's that kind of Celtic bond. So she's like, you're not going to be big-headed here, Miss Mama. Come back down with us.
That's
you know,
good.
And I'm lucky that I have kind of friends like that, you know, that keep you centered.
Look at her.
Oh, how good does she look there?
I mean, I think she is stunning, and I thought she brought a lot to the season, though they were trying their hardest to give her a kind of unflattering edit, I thought.
Well, no, listen. Ahura would be the first one to tell you, at least this is how I went into Drag Race. I hate the kind of latter seasons of Drag Race where you can tell queens are shy or they're hiding things. So I hated when queens are like, I'm not pressed. Well, we can fucking tell you're pressed, girl. Come on now. And what I really appreciate about Hora is she's honest. My God, if she's mad at you, she will let you know on Twitter. She'll let you know on Facebook. She'll let you know in person. You know, I really appreciate that. And I mean, I don't know about an unflattering edit. I mean, she was rotted in person as well as, you know, as well as in the edit. But I mean, the story producers must have loved her in that chair. They must have loved her. But she's good. You know, she's got a heart of gold and she is a sweetheart. But you do not want to be in a fight with her because she will win.
She definitely seems like she throws daggers and blades, honey.
Yes.
A cunty warrior.
Yeah, cunty is the word. But, you know, this is the thing. I think her drags had such a crazy transformation, even since the show. She looks so different. Because I think, at least in the UK, she became kind of our Raven, where everyone started copying her makeup.
Really? I didn't know that.
I took tips from her. My makeup because I was known on Drag Race for painting the depression on, I guess, you know, kind of drawing my makeup kind of mopey and it didn't flatter my eyes. So I took this, kind of see the glitter here and the floating crease. I took that from Ahura. So credit to you, Ahura. I'll Venmo you later. But
thank you, Ahura, for the facelift right with the paint.
The facelift without Facetune. It's good stuff.
I mean, Ahura, well played. Look at her.
Ellie Diamond.
Your Scottish sis.
Now, listen, you know, me and Ellie Diamond had a coarse relationship.
Yeah, that was where you were pretty sweet as pie on most of the season, I would say, but it was a little spicy when the two of you started to nudge against each other a little bit near the end there.
I mean, listen, I'm not gonna lie. When I found out she was on Drag Race, I absolutely in my head knew. I was like, well, they're either gonna have us as best friends or they're either gonna have us as enemies.
Right.
And what had happened, I got to tell you the story. So me and Ellie have known each other years before Drag Race. Ellie drew me as a local queen, Ellie drew me when she was 16 years old.
Wow.
And she drew this sketch of me, and I was like, who is this kid, you know? And obviously when she turned 18, she started doing drag, and I was like, oh, you're this person. And we got on really well. I'd crash with her, she'd crash at mine, and, you know, stay over, and if she had a gig in Glasgow. And so, you know, we are very, very close. But I thought they were trying to make us enemies because she styled my some wigs for me before Drag Race, and she butchered one of them. She cut this wig of mine, she cut it up like Edward Scissorhands. She cut this wig up. And I was furious. I was like, I'm a local drag bitch. You cannot be butchering a wig. I need to brush this out and rewear it tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
you know?
right.
And she was like, oh, but like to get the style, girl, you've got to do this. And I went, well, you could have asked me. So I remember I got shady on Twitter about her, and I was like, girl, never give Miss Diamond a wig of yours because she will cut it up. You know, she saw it and laughed it off and stuff, but I thought the whole reason we'd been cast is because of that recent interaction, because that was maybe 2 months before getting on the show.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, maybe I'm the only Scottish queen, so I messaged her and I said, can you do me some wigs? Do you reckon, you know, because I said, I need 20 wigs for 3 weeks' time for a secret project. And then she silenced on the end of the phone and she went, oh, I cannot do those wigs for you as I am also on this secret project.
Wow.
And I went, oh, 8th of March, 10 a.m., you know, that was the pickup. And she went, uh-huh. And I went, see you there.
Look at her.
Jenny
I mean, a real individual queen. Or as you said, this is why you need to stop doing drag at 30 people.
Yeah. But this is the thing. I love Jenny. You know, Jenny's sense of humor is very similar to mine. Mm-hmm. And we butted heads on Drag Race. And we've butted heads after Drag Race. She won't mind me saying. She's the first to talk about it on a mic. But, you know, Ginny is very talented. And I remember distinctly the first, you know, we walk into the workroom and the first mini challenge we had was this tennis Wimbledon thing.
Oh, right.
And my outfit was yellow. And she was like, oh, copying me, are you? And then, so that was kind of funny. And then afterwards, I said to RuPaul, I said, oh, now I've got an outfit that matches the colour of my teeth, eh? And RuPaul's obviously going, you know. And she starts laughing.
Wait, that's uncanny. I know that people say you do it good, but it's so good, Lawrence. We do it again.
Wait.
Everyone
Okay,
close your eyes, and picture RuPaul. It is spot on.
That should have been my snatch game.
Oh
that
my God. You're the only one who maybe could have pulled it off.
Yeah, well, listen, you know, but Ginny, I remember. Yeah, back to Ginny. Fuck RuPaul. Back to Ginny. Ginny.
RuPaul's laughing at your yellow teeth, yellow outfit joke.
And I was first up because I was first in to walk into the workroom, so I was first up in the challenge. And then Ginny came afterwards and she said, did you do a yellow teeth joke? Because she never laughed at mine. And then I was like, oh no. So I think because we have that similar sense of humor, I think I've stepped on her toes a few times. So, you know, it's going to happen.
And you won.
Well, she didn't want to win. She walked off.
Oh my God, she did walk off.
I got to tell you, the funniest thing when she walked off, it was exactly how you saw it on TV. There was because there was this big rumor that she swore at
or
RuPaul
gave the
and
finger.
Yeah,
or something,
she never gave a finger. Maybe afterwards she gave RuPaul a finger. I don't know. But you know, Ginny fully just walked off, and I remember, you know, Michelle was gagged. Michelle was like, Alan was like, and RuPaul was just, you know. I don't think RuPaul knew what was happening, you know. And what I found so funny was obviously Ginny wanted a reaction in that moment, but obviously RuPaul never gave a reaction. Mm-hmm. And I was like, RuPaul, this is not your first rodeo. Mm-hmm. But no, Ginny's got a great sense of humor, and live, she like destroys all of us. Live performance-wise, she is so funny, and she's a great singer as well. She's got like great original music.
She is great.
Yeah.
What are the things that you guys have fought about after Drag Race? What I want to
We have many an argument. I remember there was one time, what was it? There was an argument we had about, and it resulted in me leaving the group chat.
Not leaving the group chat.
What was it about? It was about, I remember what it was. So, you know what it's like on a tour. It's like Groundhog Day. Every day, every day, every day. And I remember she did this bit. She did it first, 100%. It is on me. And she did this bit where, you know how you have Republicans here? We have conservatives. So it's Tory, conservative, it's shortening. So she has this bit where she says, and fuck the Tories. Like, if you're a Tory, fuck yeah, leave the route, leave, we don't want you here, all that stuff. And I remember in my opening, because I was hosting the show, so I came on first, introduced everyone. In my opening, for 2 nights in a row, I slipped out with, and if you're a Tory, during audience etiquette, I said, if you're a Tory, fuck off, get out, we don't want you here. And then second night, she messages the group chat saying, hi there, I just want everyone to know that Lawrence, for 2 nights in a row, you've said this thing, this is my joke, get your own material. And then I was like, well, I don't know what to reply to that, so I left the group chat.
Good day, girls.
Good
I'll
day, girls.
Be going. I said good day.
But listen, I think she was able to walk off Drag Race. I'm able to walk out the WhatsApp group, all right?
That's right. All right, look at your little sis. Look at her.
My skinny little sis. I love.
How dare she win Drag Race at 19?
How dare she be born to do drag? Others of us have to, cut our teeth and work really hard. Crystal, God bless her. Because I'm a comedy gal. She's not a comedy gal. I read her down and she reads me down. She is so funny to work with backstage, but so sweet as well. Like, working with her, we just did a show in Vegas, and she's the most, like, she'll take your hand and go, I've not seen you in so long, baby, what's happening? And I'm like, oh, bless you. I said, this joke about you, this joke about you, this joke. My favorite joke to tell is the only Kay Vivian doesn't like to snort is Crystal Versace. And of course, all the Drag Race fans go, oh, how awful. That's so terrible that you would say that, but she's vulnerable, she's young. I'm like, Crystal doesn't care. Crystal doesn't care. And also, jokes like that are like surface level. Do you know what I mean? That's like a spelling joke at the most.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? And half of you motherfuckers can't spell. So let's be real. But, Crystal, I think, had a hard time as a winner because, which I was really shocked by, because I won and the controversy was about a thin model-like fan favorite queen losing. And so I thought if Crystal won, kind of the balance, that the scales would be even.
Yeah.
Not that I know much about on a scale.
Me neither.
But, I really thought the fans would take a shine to her more. I think Crystal's going to benefit, though, from being on an all-winners season. Her drag is so, like, Americanized and so...
I've missed the difficulty that Crystal Versace is having. I thought she was a 19-year-old who won Drag Race and la-di-da, everything was great. What's the criticism on her, Ben?
Let's be real. Mm-hmm. When you were 19, did you know how to run a business?
No, I did not.
No. So she's having to learn a lot of things as it happens.
Right.
DragCon. She did drag, like, in COVID.
Yeah.
She maybe had, 2 gigs prior to COVID or something, but she was a COVID baby, and she's had difficulty because she doesn't know everyone, and so she's making connections as she goes. She's learning how to do DragCon and make money, and she's learning how to do all these things. So it's been tough for her. I know it's been tough for her, but she's going to kill it. She is going to.
She's got the talent. Born to do drag, as RuPaul says. Look at her.
Tia Coffee!
Now, one of your closest friends, and what a delicious glow up on this queen.
Do you know, this is the thing. I feel so bad for her because she always says to me, she says she's haunted by people saying, oh my God, you've glowed up so much. Oh my God, the glow up. She's looked like that and had money like that since just after Drag Race. She's looked like that for about 2 years.
Yeah.
But because obviously Drag Race is a time capsule,
Yeah.
that's how she's remembered, as looking like a ice cream cone. You know, that's, that's how people remember her. Yeah. We have a great bond, and we're very similar people, like out of drag. We have the same mental struggles. We have the same kind of mindset with people and with dating and stuff. It's crazy because I'm sure you hear the story all the time. Dating as a drag queen, let alone as a RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Torture.
Not easy.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Rotten. And she's great. You know, she's someone I can talk to. I can call her up at 4 a.m. on the other side of the world, and she always picks up. She's a sweetheart.
And you guys are like, ugh, Grindr is a mess over here.
I'm spilling her tea. She told me of this encounter she had with a gentleman. And afterwards, she said, oh, I'm a drag queen. And he said, oh, cool. And acted like, oh, I don't know you, all that stuff. And then she said, oh, do you watch much drag? Do you know of much drag? And he said, oh, yeah, I went to a drag show last week. And she said, oh, what drag show was that? And she said, oh, it was Lawrence Chaney's drag show. And so Tia was like, so you definitely know who I am then? And then he was like, yeah, I just didn't want to mention it. I had someone, when I tell you Grindr is wild, I had someone come in me and yell, Lawrence Chaney!
No,
yes.
No, you didn't.
I get messages all the time. People message me saying, can I bing bang bong your guts? It is wild out there on Grindr. And obviously Tia's single, so she gets people messaging her saying, oh my God, you've glowed up so much. Do you fancy glowing up my hole? You know, people are crazy on Grindr.
Look at her.
Yes.
Mama, she loved you.
I hope so. I hope so. I love her right back. And I remember she told me, this never aired, but I remember she told me in episode 4, it was our Morning Glory challenge, and she said, Lawrence Chaney, you are made for television. And I said, can we get that as an MP? Can I get that at least as an MP3?
Right, you could have. You needed to quote him back. Like, nothing you say matters unless these cameras are rolling. Say it again on camera.
But I remember she said to me, oh, I've watched her audition tape 3 times. Me and my husband have even watched it. I was like, George has watched my audition tape. It's crazy. I'm a huge fan of hers. And I tell her every time, I fangirl every time. And the times I've had with her off camera, I remember one time I was with, we were filming this TV show with Ant and Dec in the UK, and she ran up to me backstage. So like, she wasn't in a suit. She had her hoodie on, her hat on, a mask. And she ran up to me and she went, Lawrence Chaney! It's Lawrence Chaney! And gave me a big hug. And even Raven was like, what the fuck is going on? Just the sweetest person. Really supportive of me. I really appreciate it. She is mother.
She is, and you deserve it. Lawrence, thank you for being here. And thanks all of you for watching. Now, if you want extra content with Lawrence we couldn't fit in the show, you're going to have to go to patreon.com/HateQueenTV for exclusive tea. And we'll see you next time on Look at Her. Hit it! Let's go! Look at her. Bye, baby. Love you, Lady Red.
Look at her. Look at her. Look